All right, so we're getting into kind of the next section of trig, where we're looking at the same basic trig functions that we've been dealing with, obviously sine, cosine, tangent, secant, cosecant, cotangent. But what we're going to do is we're going to perform what we call some identities. Remember, identity, from way back in the day, an identity preserves the identity. It's staying the same, but we're rewriting it. We're using these things to express in just a different way, so that it looks different. So it's used. It might be easier and simpler. Maybe it's kind of like simplifying. But here's some very basic identities, and all of these are things that we've already talked about before. But that's what we're starting with here. We know sine is 1 over cosecant. We know cosecant is 1 over sine. Notice these are identities. That is rewriting the same thing. It means the exact same thing. And so we can use that to rewrite these expressions, and hopefully that'll help us to see the picture a little bit differently, to sort out what's going on in a little different light. That's what we're looking at. We also have the quotient identities. Tangent is sine over cosine. Cotangent is cosine over sine. Very important stuff. Let's look here at these two. We got, first, if cosecant is 7 over 4, we want to find sine of that same angle. So, in not really the past, but before, we've drawn out the triangle. We've plotted where cosecant, we know, would be the hypotenuse over the opposite, and we would use that to find the sine stuff. But we can go back to those identities. All right, we know the relationship of cosecant of an angle is 1 over the sine of an angle. And so check out what I'm going to do here. All right, I know the cosecant of that is 7 over 4. I'm going to plug that in for what I have, and I'm looking for sine of that value. That's what I'm looking for. So there's a lot of ways we could solve this. A lot of ways. I mean, I know some of us are thinking, okay, we could cross multiply. Whatever you want to do. Cross multiply sine of, that would be 7 sine of theta equals 4, divide by 7, and so sine of theta is 4 over 7. This was pretty simple when we really go back and realize, okay, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so we can just flip that to get 4 sevenths. But when in doubt, use your identity. The identity you know, plug in what you have, look for what you're missing. Here, cotangent of x is 2 over 5 root 5. And we know the sine of x is root 5 over 3. We want to find the cosine of x. Well, I know that cotangent of an angle is cosine over sine. That is one of those quotient identities we were just looking at. So we can rewrite cotangent as cosine over sine. I know what cotangent and sine are, and I'm just missing the cosine piece. So plug in what you have. This is 2 over 5 root 5. Cosine is missing, but I'm looking for sine, root 5 over 3. So cosine is being divided by 5 root 3. Multiply both sides by root 5 over 3. Since this is being divided and multiplied by 5 root 3, that cancels out. But I also need to multiply the other side by root 5 over 3. The root 5's cancel out. I'm left with 2 over 3 times 5, which of course gives me 2 over 15. And what was left over here? Cosine of x. I had cotangent, I had sine, I just had to solve for cosine. So there's some ways we can use identities. We don't have to draw out some triangles or things, but we're starting to think of things as what equals, what is true, and we have these identities to work from.